Welcome to the magical world of Behat, my favorite library. No joke, this thing is the best. Behat is about two things. First, functionally testing your application, which means writing code that will open a browser, fill out a form, hit submit, and verify text on the other side. Why test your application? Well, imagine you're in charge of safety at Jurassic Park. Your job is to make sure guests aren't eaten by dinosaurs. You need to be certain that the new pterodactyl exhibit that's being put in won't turn off the electric fence around the Velociraptor pen. No tests? Good luck. They know how to open doors. And second, Behat is about designing your application. As developers, we'll often just start coding without thinking about what we're building or how the feature will behave. Using behavior-driven development, which Behat helps you do, you'll actually plan things out beforehand. Imagine a world where communication on your team is perfect. You always deliver exactly what your client wants, electricity on the raptor fence never goes down, and chocolate ice cream is always free. Yep, that's where we're going. Over in the browser, let's surf to the Behat documentation. In this tutorial, we're covering version 3, and for whatever reason, when I recorded this, the website still defaults to version 2.5. So double check that you're actually looking at version 3's documentation. I've got our project, the Raptor Store, loaded here. This is where dinosaurs go for the newest iPhone and other cool electronics. There's a home page, an admin section, and that's basically it. This store is built using a very small Symfony 2 application. But hey, don't panic. If you're not using Symfony, everything here will translate to whatever you're using. Okay, cool. We've got a search box. Let's look up some sweet Samsung products. And here are the two results we have. I want to start this whole Behat thing by testing this. Hold on to your butts, let's get this thing running. Over in the terminal, run composer require, and instead of using behat/behat, we'll grab behat/mink extension and behat/mink goot driver. These are plugins for Behat in another library called Mink, and they require Behat and Mink. We see the Mink library downloaded here, and the Behat library downloaded there, so life is good. Once you've downloaded Behat, you'll have access to an executable called vendor/bin/behat. Or maybe just bin/behat for some Symfony 2 users. Running it now gives us a nice, strong error. That's okay, because we need to run it with --init at the end just one time for our application. This did an underwhelming amount of things for us. It created two directories in one file. In PHP-Storm, we see a features directory, a bootstrap directory, and a little feature context.php file, and that's all of it. While we're here, I'll add a use statement for Mink context and make it extend that. I'll explain that in a minute. One last bit of setup. At the root of your project, create a behat.yml file. I'll paste in some content to get us started. When you run Behat, it looks for a behat.yml file, and this tells it, yo, our application lives at localhost:8000, so look for it there. Now that Behat is installed, let's get to writing features. In the features directory, create a new file called search.feature, and we'll just start describing the search feature on the Raptor Store using a language called Gherkin, which you're about to see here. Feature search. In order to find products dinosaurs love, as a web user, I need to be able to search for products. Here, I'm just using human-readable language to describe the search feature in general. Within each feature, we'll have many different scenarios or user flows. So let's start with scenario, searching for a product that exists. Now again, using very natural language, I'll describe the flow. Given I'm on /, when I fill in search term with Samsung, and I press search_submit, then I should see Samsung Galaxy. Don't stress out about the formatting of this. We'll cover that in detail. The only two things that should look weird to you are search term and search_submit, because they are kind of weird. Search term is the name attribute of the box here, and search_submit is the ID of this button. We'll talk more about this later. I'm actually breaking some rules. but I want to get this working as quickly as possible. Okay, ready for me to blow your mind? Just by writing this one scenario, we now have a test for our app. In the terminal, run vendor/bin/bhat, and boom! It just read that scenario and actually went to our homepage, filled in the search box, pressed the button, and verified that Samsung Galaxy was rendering on the next page. Why don't we see this happen? By default, it runs things using invisible curl requests instead of opening a real browser. The downside to this is that if you have JavaScript on your page that this scenario depends on, it isn't going to work since this isn't actually opening up a real browser. So how can we run this in a real browser? There are actually a bunch of different ways. The easiest is by using Selenium. Grab another library with composer require bhat/mink selenium2 driver. You'll also need to download the Selenium server, which is really easy. It's just a jar file. Click this link here under downloads to get the Selenium standalone server. I already have this, so I'm not actually going to download it. To run things in Selenium, open a new tab in your terminal and run the jar file that you just downloaded. For me, that's java-jar ~downloads/selenium- and then whatever your file name is. This will load and run as a daemon, so it should just hang here. Our library is done downloading, and we just need to activate it in our bhat.yml file with selenium2:tilde. This gives me the option to use Goot to run the test using curl requests, or Selenium to have things run in a browser. By default, this will just use Goot. So how do we make it use Selenium? Why, I'm so glad you asked. Above the scenario that you want to run in Selenium, just add @JavaScript, and that's it. Go back to the terminal and let's rerun this test. It actually opens the browser. It's quick, but you can see it clicking around to complete the scenario. Sweet! So we write human-readable instructions and they turn into functional tests. And this just barely scratches the surface of how this will change your development. Let's keep going and figure out what's really going on here.